Greetings, family. Greetings, family. This is Tevin with Tevin Talks, and my co-host, he goes by the name of.
You know me as Ben Grayson, but when we're all family, we're all here. I'm just Benny, man.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Now, before I introduce this special guest, I got to put this guy over. All right. First of
Definitely.
all, known this guy for close to 10 years. Let me start by saying this is, and I don't care what nobody says, argue with me, cuss me out, the best trainer in North Carolina, the Mid Atlantic, and possibly in the US. I'm not gassing, it's the truth. This man literally has now three people that he has trained, two WWE, one going to WWE, one is already there, and then one that's in AEW. This man trained them when they were children. This man groomed these kids into being the best of the best right now in the world. There's no exaggeration. Every single time you see Javon Evans, every time you see Jackson Drake, every time you see Griff Garrison, they came out of a school in Greensboro, North Carolina. Goes by the name of FireStar Pro Wrestling. If you don't know who the F I'm talking about, this man is the ring warrior. And I'm going to go ahead and say it, the next DPW heavyweight champion, Labron Kozone.
Hello.
How goes it, my friend?
How you doing? Thank you for that. Thank you for it.
Did you like that intro?
Oh man, that was pretty spectacular. I hope I can live up to it.
Hey, man, I think you've been doing that for some time now.
I appreciate it and thank you for having me. Looking forward to sharing and expressing and answering any question that you may have, and I am very proud of and very thankful for all the accomplishments over the past almost like come December it will be officially 10 years for me, like being a teacher, being just the actual teacher of professional wrestling. And since then I got the pleasure of working with over 500 people, maybe nearly 600 people.
Mm.
And I can tell you that every single one of them has taught me something. So just with the experience and everything, it's like I'm just grateful just to be where I am now.
600 people is insane to
Yeah,
say
man.
you train that many. It's not, it
Well,
goes on.
to say I work with them, because you know firsthand, people get in the ring and they take that first bump, and they be like, I don't know if I want to do this.
I've
I
seen
mean,
plenty.
let's be fair. That's why I started refereeing. So
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Yes,
man,
sir.
one thing about you though, I've always been glad for, especially just to be around you, earning that learning tree is that, like you just said, it's not for everybody. Everybody's body cannot take bumps.
Hmm.
Everybody cannot do well with matches. You always find something for somebody.
Hmm.
You had Benny, who was one of the best referees you're going to find around.
Oh yeah.
You got people that can end up being camera people,
Hmm.
backstage, agents, whatever the case may be. You find a spot for somebody because in wrestling, let's be honest, it's not just about the guys in the ring,
Hmm.
the referee that's in the ring. It's the commentators, it's the managers, it's the valets. Everybody has
Everything.
a part to play. There's 1,000 jobs in wrestling.
Yes, everything's important. Me personally, I thought B Nasty was going to be a great heel. He had a mean RKO back in the day.
He
You
still got
know,
it.
yeah, nobody
I
want to talk
still got
about it.
it. I
Nobody
still
want to
got
talk
it.
about it. But he wanted to be a referee, and I was like, ah, okay, cool. And then he turned out to be one of the best referees. Like off rip, was it your first year? You was already on a WrestleCade
Yes,
card being a referee. That
yes,
just goes
sir.
to show how great of a referee he was and still is. And then he was like, I want to be a manager. I'm like, I don't know, man. He's such a great referee. And that when I tell you Benny can get heat,
Oh,
he
he's
can
a heat
get heat.
magnet. Do you know that once upon a time in Tennessee, that man right there, Benjamin Grayson, made a woman have a panic attack.
Oh hell no.
She got so angry and so worked up because of me, she fell out right there in the floor.
Oh hell.
Just
That's
because we won some
spectacular.
titles.
Just yeah, because we beat their hometown boys and won some tag titles.
That is spectacular. Good
But
times.
we're not here to talk about me and Benny and Zenith. We're here to talk about the Ring Warrior.
Oh
Now,
boy.
I want to know, who is LeBron Kozone?
It's a great question. Labron Kozone, the character has for years been known as the Ring Warrior, and to me, the Ring Warrior is a mindset. It's an attitude. It goes hand in hand with my last name being Kozone, which stands for Knockout Zone, uh, uh, which kind of mirrors my finisher that I call Ball Game, which means I hit you, lights out. That's the end. Um, but I'm also called the Black Gold of the Sun, which pretty much means that I am the source of all things valuable. Anything that I touch turns into gold. When it comes to anything that I put my mind to, if I want to be a successful businessman, yes, it will prosper. If I want to train somebody to be the best they can be, they will prosper. It's a mindset. Um, and I've kind of went with that. I like to carry myself very professional. I take this business very serious. This is my livelihood. This is my family business. So that pretty much in that manner. In that manner, um, I am the type of person that I don't have to get my hands dirty. I got a lot of people that do a lot of great things for me. If you go to a FireStar show, you won't see me wrestling at every show. I got so many great talent. I don't need to do it, but when I do step inside the ring, it's all business, and I give it my all, 100%. I've been wrestling for 13 years. I've been teaching for 10 of those years. So it's like I'm at a self journey right now where I'm in the position where I want to practice more of what I teach, almost in that way. So this year, last year, I've been getting out there a lot more. There's a lot of people that always knew of me, but they didn't recognize my own game when it comes to being a professional wrestler. So right now, it's just in the process of turning heads and, just proving to people that not only am I a good teacher, but I'm one of the best wrestlers all around.
And I want to comment on that. For one, I think that you have personally slept on yourself for quite some time. Um,
Indeed.
Me and you have had plenty of conversations. We've sat on the phone for hours and talked, and a lot of the times, I'm gonna say probably 98% of the time, it was you putting over your students, putting over everybody before yourself. And I've always told you that you have so much untapped talent that you can spread you can legit spread it out like the way you have between your students, and you will still have enough to go out here and honestly get signed. But that, and I've always told you, that's totally up to you if that's what you want to do, because you're such a good teacher. I can see why you've always took that seat back, because you want to see everybody else grow.
Mm-hmm.
But as you can see over the last year or so, you've been getting out so much more. I can see it in your face, and when you wrestle, that you enjoy it. I
Yes,
can
without a
see
doubt.
on your face that you have that it factor. You're just not realizing it.
Yeah, I mean, I got into the wrestling business to become a professional wrestler. I always wanted to find that connection to the fans, make them feel something, make them believe something, because when I was young, I felt it and I believed in wrestling, So I want to kind of give people that same emotion whenever I walk out the curtain, you know and them just be amazed by the things that are going on inside the ring. I want to make somebody feel that. But teaching, I think that's kind of goes hand in hand with just my personality. I'm the type of person that likes to help the next man. accomplish their goals, just to get wherever they want. And it's benefited me as well, by being a good teacher and with FireStar, like everybody with FireStars helped me out so much by putting on quality shows. The only reason we put on quality shows because we have quality talent, so I've benefited a lot off of that. But yeah, I do genuinely uh, enjoy uh, going out there and wrestling, traveling. Like, and it's embarrassing to say, somebody actually told me not to say this at all. But a couple years ago, I never flew on an airplane in my entire life. And already, like, I've been in the air uh, at least 7 times in 1 year, just traveling off of wrestling, going to different places like Texas, New Jersey multiple times, Chicago multiple times, going all the way to the West Coast, hopefully West Coast soon in the future. So I've been very fortunate to experience what the things that I've always want to experience out of the wrestling business, just being who I am myself. And you and a lot of people, James Ryan, um, Caprice Coleman, New Jack. I honestly feel like I actually took action with New Jack because he was one of the first people that actually set me down and be like, the kids that you are teaching, that are paying you, that respect you, you keep training them, but you got to go out and you got to bet on yourself to be a wrestler. You know what I mean? Like, be something different, go after it. And then after he told me that, I reached out to AEW for the first time back during the pandemic. Was able to get on AEW Dark back when there wasn't that many indie guys getting on Dark. And from there, that kind of proved to me that, if I bet on myself, if I start doing more things for me, I can actually accomplish more myself. And it kind of started from back then, and, just more opportunities just coming from there. But yeah, yeah, you were definitely one. I know Caprice Coleman, even to this day, always let me know, like, yo, you've done some amazing things. You're really good at what you do. So that's one thing I'm learning, is just to recognize. And I don't know if it's because I'm humble, or I don't know if it's because I took so many bumps to where I forget the things that I've done. But just to just have pride in what you do, know that you're just have that self-confidence. And I feel like that's something growing up I didn't have that much, but now I'm really learning to grow into. And to have fans come up to me and encourage me at these Deadlock or Akshay shows is just validating. Is even more validating. So yes.
Okay.
You talk about having pride in what you do, and you really instill that in your kids. I mean, I know I was one of your kids, Tevin's one of your kids, but like when we go to shows now, we see guys that you've trained, they're helping set up, they're helping tear down because they have that pride and they have that desire to want to be a big part of this business.
Hmm.
And that's a lot of times you can't really teach that, but
Yes.
you have found a way to show your kids and your trainees, like, I'll tell you what, my very first booking, you got me my first booking, and I will never forget the story. The Brian Hawks said he would use me as a referee if they could borrow my shirt for a spot. So I showed up that day, not really expecting to do anything. I helped set up, I helped tear down, I moved chairs, I sat whatever needed to be done. And like you said, I was in my first year referee on WrestleCade. We're
Hmm.
coming up on my 7th WrestleCade. So, like, teaching those kids that the hard work pays off, to have that pride in the arena, in the venue, in the ring, so that everything looks good, that helps you get noticed. That
Indeed.
helps you get really far in this business. And that's something when 8 years ago when we walked through the doors, you taught us, and you're still teaching.
Indeed. Indeed. That's one of the biggest helps uh, there is to being able to have students. Because I remember when I started running shows, one of my first shows ever that I did on my own back in 2013, before I even had a training school. Um, it was a question of whether the ring was going to be at the show. So what I did, somebody unlocked the doors to a building that we were renting the ring from, and I swear I put the ring on the truck all by myself, a whole 18 by 18 ring. And I had a white shirt. I'll never forget, I was wearing a white shirt before I started. And 8 hours later, that white shirt was completely brown, brown and wet. And I told myself, if I don't have that type of hunger still to do things like that, then I probably don't need to be running shows. But, I don't, I made sure that I don't have to by having guys that are so willing to help out. We teach, it's more than inside the ring. I learned very quickly that the wrestling portion of wrestling is only about 20% of wrestling. There's so much uh, that you have to be great at. You got to be a great people person, how to know how to talk to people, know how to network with people. You know, uh, it's not just wrestling, but it's what you put out on the socials. It's how you present yourself. You know, it's like it's so much. It's so much. But yeah, ring crew, very important. And, with fire starters, now today, because you guys remember back in 2016 when we started zone one, bro, if you've been training with me for about 3 weeks and you can find some cool gear, you're booked. You're on the show. You're on the show, man. We'll find something for you because I ain't had no wrestlers. It was just us, But now, we got guys that's been grinding and doing their thing for years, and then we got guys that's coming in their first 6 months and they're insanely good and they can work. And there's so much competition, and guys know the only way to really get ahead is to start out doing what my original trainer, Big Daddy Eric Edwards, told me, and that's to pay my dues. Get out and help wherever's needed. Like just can't come into the business and expect shit to be handed to you on a silver platter. It's not gonna happen nowhere. You know what I mean? So it's just, it's very, very important thing that we always believe in. And plus, with the busy schedule, because we don't just run FireStar shows, but we also do ring rental for Deadlock Pro. We do ring rental for Ashe Wrestling. We have other ring rentals that pop up every other month. So we have a very busy schedule. So it all means a lot and it helps the business go in as well. So I believe that carries on when the guys they start going to different promotions, when they start taking their own bookings, they still have that mindset, and then they're able to, be even more of a benefit to different promotions that they work for.
That is very true. And it takes a lot of talent because wrestling is just not something you can just wake up and be like, I got it. This
Mhm.
takes time. Whether it is you literally training every single week, you watching film, you studying, because this is not, like I said, this is not something you could just go home every single day and not watch wrestling, not talk wrestling, and just want to just be a wrestler. It's not possible. And it's just for me personally, it took me a while to get a hold of it because of the things that I had going on in my life. Like I didn't take it as serious as I should have. And I know that you personally, like you consistently were calling me when I first started making sure I was good. I'm just like, why does dude keep calling me? Like, I'll see him in a couple days. But I understand why you were on me and I appreciated it because I'm somebody, when I took that first bump, I was like, oh shit. Like, hmm, this looked cool.
Oh yeah.
But is this, but once you work through it and it's just like, years down the line, I'm like, okay, I'm so glad that I did this, and I wouldn't take anything for granted. Never again
Indeed.
when it comes to wrestling. I was literally just thinking about this the other day, just coming off of the road and thinking about it was one point in time. It might have been about 2 years ago.
Hmm.
We had a conversation. I think you had made a post about it. You were talking about how many champions you had, and like I said, this is coming from me personally, somebody who's had plenty of championships. They don't mean a damn thing to me. Me
Hmm.
wrestling, putting on a show for fans is what gets me going. But you had made a post, broadcasting your students being champions at various places, people you had at FireStar were champions, but it was one specific weekend. I think you had maybe 10 students in different states wrestling the same night. And just to even think about that is crazy, bro. People that you personally train, you had guys in Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, all through North Carolina. I believe Javon, aka Malachi, might have been in New York. Jack was in he might have been in Jersey.
Yeah, probably at the same place.
You had 10 wrestlers that you personally trained at in one night. I don't
Yeah.
it's not a lot of people that can say that, bro. It's
Nah,
not.
man, it's like it is. It's definitely a blessing, And if of course I highlight the major accomplishments, whether it's me making a post on my personal page, or this on the Firestar Facebook or Instagram. I always like to highlight the major accomplishments because that what motivates people, because I know it motivated me, because I've seen so many wrestlers that I used to be on the indies with leave the indies and get signed. The very first match that I ever booked in my life for Firestar back in 2012, I was probably 19 years old. But the very first match that I booked was Cedric Alexander versus Adam Page.
Mm,
You know, two guys that wasn't even on TV at the point, but I knew that they were going to be soon. And when they went, it was hella motivating. It motivated me. You know
for
what I
sure.
mean? Seeing Griff Garrison get that AEW contract, that motivated me. That motivated so many people, to say it is possible. It is possible to be coming out of this school with no reputation and you can make it big. You know what I mean? And then Malachi, you know, that motivated so many people. Now we have Jackson, but I put that out there. But even to be able to step inside the ring, that is an accomplishment itself because there are so many people. There are so many people that want to be able to get inside the ring, but for whatever reason, they're unable to. You know, so I have to tell guys, don't forget that your everyday way of living is somebody else's wildest dreams.
Hmm.
So you always gotta be grateful and appreciate every single accomplishment. Like, and even to this day, when we're doing the roles, I try my best to remember, even if one of my new kids, they do a front roll, to be like, good job, that was good, really good, and I mean that shit. Just seeing somebody get better, getting their bumps down, that's a major accomplishment, to somebody having their first match, just being inside the Firestar locker room on show day is an accomplishment, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just you have to celebrate every victory, as much things as you can be grateful for. I feel like gratitude speeds up even more blessings, you know? So it's just remembering little things like that, every little thing. But
That's
yes,
that's a really good point. Those of us that are doing this every weekend, no matter how we're doing it as a ref, a manager, a wrestler, whatever, those of us that do this every weekend can kind of take it for granted.
yes,
And to your point, like there are people that tried and just couldn't do it or can't do it and they want to live that life just for a minute. So it really goes back to your point of showing gratitude for the fact that we can do this,
Indeed.
and definitely keeping the right mindset about it.
100%. And things are not always going to be all good. It's never, oh, it's going good. It's getting even better. Oh my God, it's better than yesterday. It's always, okay, things are going good. Something happens in life. And then, okay, we got to get over that. Let's keep going. Oh, I feel some type of way today. Let's get over how we feel. Let's keep going. So it's peaks and valleys, throughout this journey. As long as you keep going and staying encouraged, I feel like the journey never ends unless you stop. And I've had great people. I had great people stop, and I'm like, cool, cool, cool. That's fine if you stop, as long as you're happy doing what you want to do in life. That's what's important, you know.
Yeah, you talked about the peaks and the valleys. I know what's something that like mentally helps you get through those valleys when you're struggling? Like, how do you find a way to stay positive? How do you find a way to keep going?
Understanding the cycle of life, understanding your own patterns.
Mhm.
Me, I like to say that hard times create strong people create good times. Good times can create weak people, and weak people can create bad times. So understanding the cycle. Okay, how am I living right now? Is things too easy for me? Am I motivated? Am I just eating cookies every day? You know, how many cookout trays have I ate this week? Am I becoming weak, or am I being strong? You know what I mean? You got to understand your cycle. You got to understand where you are, where your mindset's at, because this thing, you can know everything in the book. I work with a lot of smart people, but it's not about what you know. It's what you use your hands for. It's what you do. Like, we can watch every reel on Instagram and TikTok and learn so much, but we forget it 15 seconds later, and it
Mm.
means nothing. you, so what's important is what you do with your hands, what you do. You know what I mean? So you just got to keep doing. Understand yourself. Got to understand yourself. With me, I understand that being spiritually well makes you mentally well. Being mentally well, you're able to do this physical, uh, anything physical, any wrestling thing is you can do it if you're mentally capable of. We do this thing called Chop Day, to where I get the new kids in the ring. I tell them to take their shirt off, and I chop the ever living crap out of them multiple times, trying to make them quit. But the chops is not the hard part. Being able to mentally get through it and not being, oh, he's going to kill me, and not flinching for every strike. You know what I mean? You being mentally capable of taking the chop is the test. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yes, sir.
that's those are things that's helped me, is just being spiritually well rounded, with knowing where you are when yourself, which helps with your mental, which will help you do this physical abuse in sport.
You see, speaking of Chop Day,
Uh-oh.
y'all y'all did me so dirty,
What are you talking about?
brother, brother. I took 15 chops in a row.
I mean, you bigger than all of us
I
put
mean,
together.
hey, brother. I was like, yo, like it literally got to a point where it was numb. I think around like number 8, I was like, it is what it is at this point. I'm just feeling just somebody hit
Right.
my chest at this point. It was insane.
Oh yeah.
All right, well, Tevin, say, talk about how did you how did you get through the rest of that? Like you said, you were, I don't know, how did you mentally get through Chop Day?
For me personally, okay, if I'm being honest, I think by the third chop, I think I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is for me. And then the fifth one, I was like, this really fucking hurts. But then by 6 and 7, I'm like, I can't really feel it. Number 8 and 9, I'm like, I definitely don't feel it. Then after that, I'm just like, okay, I got this. I
Yes,
think
sir.
my mind was set on more. I think honestly, part of me wanted to just break down right there because I just was like,
Mhm,
this is super physical
mhm,
more than I thought. But then at the same time, I'm like, dude, if I can get through this part, I'll be fine.
mhm.
Because at that point, I was like, can't nothing be worse than this. Can't nothing be worse than this. So, once I got through that, dude, honestly, it was the best thing for me personally.
Mhm,
And I think that this is going back to what Kozone said, about being mentally okay. I think after the passing of my mom, I spiraled for some time because I didn't know where I was going. Like when I say I didn't know where I was going, like dude, I would wake up some days and I'm just staring at the wall for like an hour because I'm like, dude, I just don't feel like moving. I don't feel like going to training. I don't feel like like I wanted to wrestle. I needed to wrestle, but my mind just was not there. And it
mhm.
took me a while to get out of that mindset. This is exactly why Tevin Talks was made, for conversations like this, to have fun, to be serious, and to cry a little bit because everybody needs that on a daily basis.
Yes.
And I think for me, one huge thing that I'm on right now and that I've been on like for the last year is that at times isolation brings elevation for a
Mhm,
lot of different people.
mhm,
You know, when I decided to step away from certain things and certain people, that's when things started to make sense for me. And it wasn't because they were bad friends or bad people. It's just like you have to be able to focus when you
mhm.
want these things to work. When you want to be the best wrestler you can be, you have to focus. This is not something that you're just given. People are they have a God given ability to do it, but to be a elite wrestler, you have to practice. You have to train mentally and physically to be that person. And you're going to do whatever it is you need to do to get to that point.
Yes,
That's when
sir.
your energy is vibrating on a different level.
Mhm.
People don't get that, man. And it takes
Mm.
a lot. And that's why I want to keep putting you over because you have to understand that when you go into Firestar, one thing I've always valued is that a lot of fans like gimmicky wrestling, and then a lot of fans just like very physical, technical, and you got people that just rely off storylines. You've had so many different gimmicks that were just made at Firestar,
Mhm.
and it always made sense. It always made sense. It wasn't just a little stupid gimmick just to get a laugh over. You had people, you even the new guys you have now. Just to throw some names out there, Saint Julius,
Indeed.
Kid Neon. These guys are coming into this situation focused. They know what they want to do. Are they 100% the best wrestler right now in this moment? No, but you're helping them be the best version of themselves every single time they come in that building.
Indeed.
You have to, and don't take this the wrong way, because but you have to start taking all of these these good gestures people are throwing at you, and you have to soak it in sometimes. You
Mm.
have this shield around you sometimes, like you hear it, but it's like, no, that's not what's really going on. But it is. You've
Mm.
you've you've put on for so many different people, and it's showing through your school, through the wrestling business. You have eyes, and I'm talking about the big eyes on Firestar right now. And like you said, these guys that you've trained personally that are getting signed, that are going places, they're putting that school over, they're putting you over, and it's time for everybody to take notice right now.
Indeed. And
Because
I appreciate it. I really do. And I'll take it, man. I'll drink it in. I'll drink it in, most definitely. And one of the big things is like it's it's very challenging, especially if you came from nothing. you know. And I felt like I'm one of those few in the business that genuinely came from nothing. Like my family was not into wrestling. Don't have any relatives that were in the business. Um, my original training process was nothing spectacular. Like I learned with guys like you and James Ryan and even Jack and Malachi. We were all learning together,
Mhm.
hitting the road, going to different seminars or bringing in uh, different seminars. If y'all see my seminar list, it goes crazy. It's paragraphs
It does.
full of people that I've been blessed to learn from, whether they're still on this earth or not on this earth anymore. You know, but we went out and we sought that knowledge because we knew that it was going to help. We know knowledge is power, and power can create wealth. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And we've all made sacrifices, and that's going back to Chop Day. That's one of the reasons why I hit y'all so hard, is because you have to feel this pain,
Mhm.
because pain is sacrifice in a way, and sacrifice is a way of compassion, it's a way of love. If you love something, you're going to sacrifice for it. Like people think, oh, if I'm in a relationship and I'm feeling pain, then it's not true love. It's not true. As much as you love, you're going to feel that pain. If something goes wrong, you know what I mean?
No, that's
Like
true.
the love that you have for your mom and the pain that you felt when you lost her. I couldn't imagine what you went through, especially you so young when that happened, you know? So anyway, and or any capacity, you say that wrestling helped throughout that time, or the people that you're around helped throughout that time. I'm fully grateful. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. You
Fully
guys,
grateful.
you guys definitely helped. Even up until the end. If it wasn't for you guys, man, that time would have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
We literally had that show that night. That benefit to help pay for the expenses of her passing because we knew what was going to happen, and she literally passed hours after that match. I got to share that moment with Ben in that ring,
Hmm.
with James Ryan, surrounded by all of you guys. Man, I will
Yep.
never, and I mean never, forget that.
Indeed.
My family will never forget that.
It was
That
really
that that
cool.
moment is something that will be forever cemented in my head. Um, Even when me winning my first title, Zone One, and I don't think a lot of people know this. I literally, it's a canvas that I have in my house. It's from the picture that my mom took. It's the last picture that she took, bro.
Mm,
Uh, she took a picture of me holding up the title, and what a lot of people don't know about that, my very first title win was her last time ever seeing me wrestle in person,
mm.
and it was on Mother's Day.
Wow.
So that was very special to me, man. I'll never forget that. I remember I faced Griff Garrison, and he had the wrestling lawyer with him.
Ah, yes. This was at Texas Disco, right?
No. This was at the school.
It
This was
was
at the
at the
school.
school?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
This is when we first moved into the other
The
side
other
of Mother.
side.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Was
yeah.
this zone one?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Heck yeah.
Insane, man.
That's awesome, bro.
One of them things. And since we speaking of that, you know what? I want to see at this moment if Kozone can stand on some business.
Oh God.
If he can stand on business. Benny, take over for just 1 second, please. Give me a second.
All right, so Kozon, I'm sure Tevin has explained to you what standing on business is,
Kind of sort of, but
kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
We're going to give you some options, A or B, and you have to pick one.
Okay.
You can't be politically correct. You can't say both. You can't say neither. You've got to pick one.
Oh gosh.
If you try to be politically correct and try to take the high road, there are consequences.
There are consequences goes on. All right. Now we switch these up for people.
Oh
Uh,
God.
Speaking of which, Javon Evans still owes us some burpees.
He does.
did he do his burpees?
No, I don't know.
Not yet.
Uh,
So we made ours a little special for you. You know what I'm saying? Just because of Chop Day.
oh, please
You
don't
know,
be bumps.
no bumps. But
Woo.
if you decide to be politically correct,
Mm-hmm.
we want you to record this and we want you to post it and tag Tevin Talks if you can.
Oh God.
Anytime if you're politically correct about any of these questions.
All right.
You need a 3-minute rope run.
What? What?
3-minute rope run.
For all right. So for one, wait. So 3 minutes each question.
No, just one. Just one. If you're politically correct, at least one time. We
All
need
right. How
three
many
minutes.
questions?
I ain't gonna tell you that.
Oh God. All
But
right.
I got some good questions though.
All right. Let's
And
go.
when I ask you these questions, before you answer or after, if you have any stories with these people or anything like that, please do tell.
If I have stories.
If you have stories with anything that
Okay.
all right.
Got you.
You ready? You ready to stand on business?
Let's do it. I'm standing right now.
All right, man. All right. First question. Zone 1 or Afterburn?
Mm. So for those that don't know, Zone One was our very first episodic 30-minute YouTube show filled with wrestling from the FireStar Pro Wrestling Academy, with all our creativity and all our hard work and all our passion and all the storylines that we can ever
Shenanigans.
dream of. And I tell you, it was a lot of our first reps of being what we always wanted to be. And it meant so much that we even did like maybe 3 seasons, maybe 4 seasons. I don't know.
Mhm.
We did a lot of seasons of the Zone One. Uh, Afterburn right now is pretty much the remake, to kind of rekindle that magic. Uh, but it's going on right now, and you
Mhm.
can currently find those Afterburn episodes on FSPW Network YouTube channel. Still 30-minute episodes. Ah, I would say Afterburn. I would say Afterburn right now.
Okay.
Mainly because it's the present time. Uh, and I'm still trying to sell tickets to the next Afterburn show. Zone One was very fun. Uh, I had the best time being. I mean, I had the best time watching Captain Black America and
That guy.
That guy.
and the saga with his his crazy children. Uh, that was so much fun. A lot of fun.
Oh, man. I respect it. All
Yeah.
right, number 2. Ron Simmons or Booker T?
Jesus.
Now, just know, because I know you. So I made sure that when I had these questions, I had to think like I was Kozone for a second. Like,
Indeed.
I'm going to get him.
I met them both. They're both great. Fudge.
Sounds like an
I'm
ultimate to me.
I'm gonna go with Booker T.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Okay.
go with Booker T. Yeah, only because King Booker was the goat.
I got 2 quick stories about both of them.
Yes.
I'm gonna step in. Ron Simmons. So I showed him a video years prior
Hmm.
of me doing a frog splash, the first one I ever did, and showed him how it went. Next couple years after that. So about 2 WrestleCades ago, I'm walking. He taps my elbow.
Mm.
I'm like, hey, what's going on, buddy? He said, I remember you. He said, come
Oh
here.
snap.
He is sitting beside D'Lo Brown at the time.
Mm.
He said, D'Lo, this is the guy I was telling you about.
Oh shucks.
And man, I tell you, bruh, ear to ear. I was like, holy crap.
Yes, sir.
It's
That's
unbelievable,
really awesome
bro.
because that's one of the things I learned. There's a lot of great people. There's a lot of people you look up to, but it's super rare that you find somebody that's really trying to help you. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? To go to that next level because it's selfish business. Yeah, you know what I mean. But to have him speak to somebody like D'Lo on his behalf, that's freaking dope. That's
Bro,
dope.
as hell. And I'll
Mhm.
always remember that.
Yeah.
Number two, Booker T. I was not wrestling at the time, but this is when I was living in Nashville, Tennessee. So I was dropping one of my employees off after work. Everybody knows I travel with Cookout for forever, unfortunately. And I went to go drop him off, and then I had another employee who was staying at this hotel for unforeseen reasons. I do not know why, but dropped him off. And as I'm walking, as I'm driving through the parking lot, I see this guy. And I'm like, damn, it looks like Booker T. He's walking like stupid fast too, and I'm like, damn, it looks like Booker T. And then as I get up closer to him, I see the WWE shirt on, and I was like, oh shit, it's Booker T, brother. No lie, I done stepped out the car. The car is in motion,
No.
bruh. I got back in and stopped it, but Booker, and I know I'm fanning out. But he looked up, he threw his hand up, and I was like, man, can I just got to shake a hand, bro? Went over there and talked to him. Coolest dude ever, like
That's incredible.
coolest man. Got a picture and everything. It was a day.
Most definitely.
All right,
That's great.
next one. I don't know how you gonna feel about this one. John Cena or AJ Styles?
Mm. Mm, 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 mm. All right. So work ethic, as far as ring work, I would definitely say AJ,
Hmm.
you know. Um, but John Cena, I felt like he inspired a generation that was very necessary for wrestling's growth. We look back at the PG era and be like, oh, that was bullcrap because we grew up on the Attitude Era. You know what I mean? But what we don't realize is that wrestling as a whole needed the era, needed wrestlers like John Cena because when going out, because I've been doing this promoting thing for a minute and back in 2012, it was so hard to get sponsors from different public business, only because the reputation that pro wrestling had at the time,
Hmm.
And now, post 2020, wrestling is more accepted to more public business by how big it is now. And I think that's mainly because of the PG route and good wrestlers, good superstars like John Cena. So, I'll probably go with Cena.
Okay, I respect that. I think the way you worded that, with AJ's ring work and then just John Cena literally carrying a whole era on his back.
Hmm.
Let's just be correct about that. That was a good explanation for both. I respect it.
Indeed.
This next one, I really don't know what you're gonna go with.
Okay.
Bronson Reed or Samoa Joe?
Samoa Joe.
Okay,
That
okay.
was pretty easy, only because, I was a big TNA mark growing up. That's the whole reason. If y'all didn't know, Firestar from 2017 all the way to probably 2022, 2021, whatever, 2022 had a tunnel like the old Impact Zone tunnel.
Uh huh.
And it
Yeah, I missed
was,
that.
bro, that was one of the first, I call them Dividus. The first Dividus that I watched, it was a TNA Victory Road 2004, and they had extra scenes. It was either No Surrender 2005 or Victory Road 2004. Somebody's got to go back and correct me. They had an extra scenes of Chris Sabin, and he was getting in the zone. He was putting on his wrist tape, and then out of nowhere, the music started playing. The lights turned green. Hell, Sabin! Yeah, he
Hmm.
got lit, walked up the steps, and they showed the angle from where the camera's behind him, and he's walking up through that tunnel to go out and do his thing. And I watched that clip probably over and over. And I remember my mom; she walked into my room, and I said, "Mama, I want to walk through that tunnel one day." You know. So when I got the opportunity, and the person that built our tunnel was Jackson Drake's dad. You know, that was the sole reason why I started training Jack at the age of 13, is so his dad could build us a tunnel. I said, hey, if you can build us a stage, I'll train your son, you know.
That
So
tunnel, that tunnel built
yeah,
the way for this man to get signed to the
yeah.
WWE.
Dead. Yes, so
Holy
definitely
shit!
definitely Samoa Joe.
Heard that. I like
That
that.
I do miss that tunnel, by the way. There was something about coming through that tunnel.
Oh man. Oh man. It'll make a return one of these days.
Oh, it is. I know it is. All right. I think I know what you're gonna pick for this one. We'll switch it up.
All right.
Power Rangers or X Men?
Jesus. Power Rangers, brother. That's
I
super
knew it.
easy.
I knew it. I
It's
knew it.
super easy, bro. Like my brother, if he's watching,
Oh, brother.
bro, we were Power Ranger marks before we were wrestling marks. You know, it went from Barney straight to Power Rangers. And then I got into Dragon Ball Z, and then my younger cousin introduced me to pro wrestling. But definitely, definitely, definitely Power Rangers. Fun fact is, I was born the very same day that Power Rangers Mighty Morphin aired its first episode, August 29, 1992.
Oh man,
Yes. So
that's fire.
either I was going to be a Power Ranger or a pro wrestler.
And if I'm not mistaken, your brother has the freaking what do you call it? The gauntlet?
He has something. I'm pretty sure he has something in his house
I've
right
seen,
now.
bro. He used to wear it at work. I remember it. Holy crap!
Yeah,
All
man.
right. This is gonna be some old school versus very very old school versus new school.
Let's hear it.
The Fabulous Moolah or Bianca Belair.
Mm, I mean, Bianca Belair, you
Heard.
know, all due respect to Moolah, and, definitely from the people that she helped into the business and whatnot, and her impact that she had in WWF or whatever. But I definitely have to go with Bianca, definitely being a trailblazer of her own kind and still currently doing great things. I'll definitely go with Bianca on that.
Okay. And I
Yes,
think
sir.
this is where you're gonna probably get the running these ropes.
Oh,
All right. Now,
yeah.
this one is something special.
Just don't make me choose between any of my kids.
Uh,
Ah, hell.
uh, Keith Lee
All right.
or TDT?
Jesus. All right. I'm gonna go with woo! No, I'm just playing. I gotta go with TDT. You
Hey
know,
man.
even to this day, just and you honestly don't have to do a damn thing inside the ring. Just when you step inside the ring, and I feel like his presence, but it might just be me knowing where you came from. You know what I mean? Like I was excited to the last match I seen you do uh outside of Firestar where I was actually a fan was you versus George South. You know what I mean?
Man.
At AML. And I just thought that was such a cool thing. Just to say, hey man, one of my guys, he's wrestling a legend like George South right here in front of me is freaking cool. So yeah, I probably wouldn't feel that way if I was nothing against Keith Lee, but I have to go for you.
I appreciate that, man. I really
Yes,
do.
sir. Yes, sir.
Now, this next one, I am very in this is the last one. I'm very interested in hearing this one. All right,
Yes.
LeBron Kozone in 2019 or
Mm.
LeBron Kozone in 2024.
Oh man. All right. What was I doing 2019? I went on. I beat James Ryan for the FireStar Championship,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got cashed in on by Mr. Cam Carter. That's probably the first time I put myself in main events. No, it's not because I did the main event the prior year. I would go with LeBron Kozone now, without a doubt. There's no
Exactly.
argument. I was doing some cool things in 2019 with myself. I feel like Firestar was at a all-time high because that 2019 Wrestle Revival, and we talk about Wrestle Revival all the time. For those that don't know, that's like our WrestleMania here in Greensboro for
Mhm.
Firestar, and we drew over 500 people to that Wrestle Revival in
Mhm.
2019, and haven't beat that record since. I felt like 2019 Firestar was probably peak right before the pandemic. There was so much good going on. But 2024, me right now, how much I learned over the years, how motivated I am, and it's something about once you get past the age of 30, it's just what's the word to describe it? But it's like I don't know if it's intuition or whatnot, but I just feel a lot smarter than I used to be.
I dig
So
it.
yeah, that's what I had to go with.
And I think that, for one, let me go back to that Wrestle Revival. You and James Ryan, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I wrestled. I'm sorry, I did not wrestle twice, but not just me and James Ryan, but you can't forget Jay Malachi hitting the Mally Cutter for the very first time
Very
versus
first
Captain
time.
Black America
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
on that same card. Like,
Was,
how
was,
could I
was that was
follow
that the
that?
belt on the pole match?
Yes, it was the belt on the
That was the
That
pole
was the
belt
match.
belt
on
on
the
the
pole.
pole.
Like, how could I follow that, guys?
Oh,
Oh man.
I remember that match specifically. You took a spine buster on the
On the
outside,
floor. On
and
the
I said,
floor.
I said the match is over. The match is over. Good
All
God
right.
Almighty.
So they had nice thick padding, and on medley we had concrete,
Yeah,
and so I'm like, oh, we got padding. So I got super excited. I was like, so why don't you give me a spine buster on the floor? So I took it, and I don't know if y'all ever seen me take a spine buster, but when somebody gets me up for a spine buster, I am in the air,
in the
you
air. Yeah.
know. So when I took that spine buster, Ron Simmons style, I'm pretty sure my head was well over the top rope.
Oh, for sure.
And I went straight down, thud.
Hmm.
I don't know how I finished the match, and it was still pretty decent. Shout out to James Ryan. Uh, but I remember the next day I had training. And it wasn't any type of training, it was my new beginners training.
Yep.
And in that class was Oliver Sawyer. So a 16-year-old Oliver Sawyer. So his first time ever seeing me, I could barely move. I was trying to teach him how to get up from the ground, and I couldn't even do it myself.
I remember after that match, you walk into the back, and I looked. Who was beside me? Cannot remember saving my life. I just remember looking. I said, "He's done. He is done."
It's been a couple times in my career that I legit had to be carried to my car after a match, and that I wouldn't be surprised if that was one of them.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I am pretty
And
sure.
and notice the wrestle revival that we did over there after that. I had the little scooter.
Oh yeah.
The
Oh
little
man.
green scooter, because I
Uh,
knew I wasn't gonna deal with that again.
So many great matches happen at the Greensboro Sportsplex.
Mm.
The wrestle revivals, man. It was lovely, and I just got to give him a shout out. And we love you to Tyrone
Yes, sir.
for helping us
Sir.
look like superstars
Indeed.
every
That
single time.
that wrestle revival was, it was for everybody, but it was the expression of Tyrone's love. You know what I mean? And I go, I went back and I looked at our own messages, because time goes by and you forget certain things. But the very first Firestar show that he went to was a wrestle revival back in 2014. And shortly after that, he started training with me
Mhm.
uh, back in Jamestown for a little while. And then the first time he ever helped at a show was Wrestler Revival 2018. And that show, all he had was a curtain, and he was able to hang up the FireStar banner up on top of the curtain. And Wrestle Revival 2018, there was barely anybody there in the crowd, but it was still our WrestleMania. And I remember wrestling Marcus Cross in the main event of that, and I have yet to felt anything like what I felt coming out the curtain and having all my students at the time be with me out there for my entrance, and then going out there and having one of the best matches of my career at that point against Marcus Cross, and then Griff being involved in the finish of that. Uh, and then, I felt like, that was where, visually the heart of Firestar was felt. And I feel like that moved Tyrone to really go full out at Wrestle Revival in 2019. And when I tell you, we were backstage, and it was right when the show started. JD Drake, who was already doing stuff for Evolve at the time, he was like, man, said the guys down at Evolve or whatever, he's all those shows he worked don't even have this type of production, which it was crazy the amount of work that Tyrone was doing for us and continue to do until the day that he passed away. And he did not have to, you know, he did
Yep,
not have to at all. So, Firestar and Wrestler Revival, would never be the same as what, Tyrone helped it to ever, ever be. But, for one thing, we're gonna make sure that his legacy lives on at Firestar as long as it's around, you know.
for sure.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. So
And
it's cool.
speaking of Marcus Cross too, um, you guys' match was phenomenal. Um, I think that's where me and Benny really started to click.
Hmm.
That Wrestle Revive, and on to this day, that's probably one of my best matches still. Um, God, that match was everything. It honestly was. Griff coming out, trying to help him. It was wild. First of all, Griff held me up on the shoulders for a power bomb. This one strong mother effer. I'm a big
Yes,
dude.
sir.
So
Still is.
that was man. That Wrestle Revival energy is something else, man.
Hmm.
Really is.
We thank you for letting us be a part of that, man. And I just feel like with the students you have now, for one, I think the grade of students that you've gotten in the last 2-3 years, they catch on so freaking fast, man, and they're out here working some really good matches,
Indeed.
really good
And I
matches.
and the main reason why, Firestar is successful and Firestar will always be successful, and it's simply because of the mindset. People are here to help out. I have great help even at training now. Like, I don't have to take every bump. I don't have to be the only one in the room that's giving out knowledge, that's helping the next man. I tell people all the time, always come here with the mindset to learn and to grow, but also come here with the mindset to help the next man out, and that continuously makes the chain better. You know what I mean? There's so many great guys here that helps that process out. So yeah, it's gonna continue. And about Wrestler Revival, what makes Wrestler Revival great is everybody, everybody, because it's a reunion. You know, it's a reunion, and it's felt from the top all the way down, even to the fans. The fans know they're watching something special.
Every single time.
Hmm.
And I think that, with guys like Javon Evans and Jackson Drake, when you look at how young they were when they started to where they are right now, still very fresh into their 20s, it gives a lot of hope for what's in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just about age, because you have some older guys out here that are still putting in so much great work. It's just like right now with people getting ID'd, there is a chance for you out here, but it starts with training,
Yes,
and it
sir.
starts with the knowledge that you are giving out every single week. And I think that you're on a much larger scale than you think you are. You have so many more eyes on you that you probably ever thought. And I think that right now is such a pivotal moment in the independent scene. Everybody needs to take notice to the things that you are teaching. And I think that a lot of people would gain a lot just from coming and seeing you train and see how you train your students, because it is a process. It's not something that's just given. Like I said, you can have that God given ability, but what can you actually do with it?
Mm-hmm.
You're breaking down wrestling bit by bit, like the basics. Everybody needs to learn the basics.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it starts. You just don't come in and, hey, teach me moonsault. No. Can you do arm drag, brother?
Indeed.
Can you lock up?
Can you lock up,
Yes.
brother? Let's
Come
start
on,
there.
man.
Let's start there, and then we can start doing 630s and
Yeah, man. Please.
you know what I'm saying? It's just
If you could do an arm drag and a lockup, bro, you do all the flips in the world.
exactly.
But if you can't do a hip toss, man, we got a problem, bro.
It ain't nothing wrong with that, man. It's not. It's not at all.
Indeed.
You know, I want to thank you, bro. And I hate to even cut this short, but I just I know that it's gonna be so much more for us to talk about in the upcoming couple of months, and I want to revisit this.
Of course, of
I
course.
really do.
I
I
know
know
we can sit here and talk all day.
all day.
Oh,
We got so many stories, man, and I got something special for you coming up soon. I'm not gonna spoil it, but the next show is gonna be something good. Just know
Yes,
that.
sir. I'm looking forward to it, and I really appreciate y'all having me. So I would definitely love to do it again in the future.
most
And
Always.
definitely. Thanks for helping us get into the mind of Kozone a little bit.
of course,
And personally, if I hadn't walked into your school in February of 2016, I don't know where I'd be right now. I wouldn't know Tevin. I wouldn't know James Ryan, Jack, Malachi, like all these guys that I've gotten to know and love over the years. And you know, I appreciate you training me like a wrestler.
indeed,
Even though I told you I don't know, maybe that's not for me. Maybe I could be a referee. But I appreciate you putting me through that and teaching me, because that's something that I can take on to help the younger kids.
indeed,
And yeah, I don't know where I'd be here in 2024 without Firestar.
indeed. Man, I appreciate it, and that's what it's all about. The connections that we make, you know, is I I got people that you know they come into the business just being complete strangers to everybody, and now they found people that they're gonna hold them tight to the rest of their lives, and that's honestly that's what professional wrestling should always be, and that's a brotherhood,
That's
you
true.
know.
And there's a saying that you have a lot of acquaintances in wrestling. You don't have a whole lot of friends.
Hmm.
And there's man, Firestar's given me a whole lot of friends.
Indeed.
Yourself, Tevin, Duke O'Connor, all these guys that I've ridden the roads with and had stories with, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Sir, I appreciate you, Benny. You too, Ted.
Hey man, we love you, bro, sincerely. We
Love
do,
y'all too.
and we appreciate you, man.
Yes,
Before
sir.
you before you go, let's get those socials out. Where can everybody find you? Where can everybody watch Firestar content?
To find me, Labron Kozone, uh, just search. Labron Kozone. I have a link tree somewhere on Google. Hopefully, you'll find it. And the reason why I created a link tree because all my usernames are different. Because I've been on the socials for over 10 years now. So, uh, yeah, the link tree is good. Firestar. Uh, Most of the content could be found on YouTube when it comes to Afterburn. But now we're giving Patreon a try. We already have some subscribers on that. And that's where we'll be posting out a majority of our full shows and also exclusive content and hopefully training tutorials as well. So if you're living from a distance and you want to know a little bit about my teaching style, the things that we do at the training school, I will have an option of that on the Firestar Patreon, which you can just search FSPW on the Patreon search link or Firestar, and we'll come up there.
Gotcha. And for anybody that is trying to, well, that is in the local area of Greensboro, North Carolina, and they want to learn where to start training, how do they go about doing that?
Man, just hit me up like everybody else have, but I have people that travel travel. I have a guy recently drove 5 days, 5.5 days from Oregon to relocate to Greensboro just to train at Firestar. You know, I got guys traveling over 3 hours, you know, back and forth just to come train. So the level of commitment that some of these guys are showing, it means so much. But it's simply because we are the best school all around and we'll continue to be, you know. So if you want to learn how to be a professional wrestler, hey man, fspwrestling.com. Give it a try.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That about wraps it up for today, people. We love you.
Sir, much
Just
love.
just know that, brother, this is always a platform for you. Anytime you want to put over shows, anytime you want to talk about your students, we're here for you. Like I
Yes,
said, we
sir.
love you and we appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys.
And that's been a great show. This is Tevin Talks, and we out.
Ball game.